Hey, good morning, East Texas. Thanks for joining us on the CBS 19 Plus live stream. We're live here. We're live on YouTube as well. We are working on getting our Facebook live stream up, and as soon as we get that up, I'll be looking to see if you guys have any questions about the incoming storms. Today is a weather impact alert day, and we're seeing lots of storms pop up just off to our west. So far, it's been a cool and cloudy morning, but thunderstorms have barged through the DFW metro area. There is one little thunderstorm that I'm watching, which is just starting to make its way to Athens. Right now, it's toward Corsicana. Really not a ton of rain yet in the Piney Woods, just clouds. It's this little one, though. If you take a closer look at our radar near Corsicana, you can see it beginning to build in strength a little bit, especially if I put this radar in play here. You can see it just beginning to have more lightning. We're seeing the storms be a little bit taller. That's a sign that it's building. We'll likely see this throughout the day today. Right now, it's going to get to Athens in the next 30 minutes to an hour. Expect some gusty winds and lots of thunder. Otherwise, we're not seeing any severe weather with this. Another little cell that I'm watching that's just up to the north, moving toward Greenville, Sulphur Springs, and toward Embry. There's a chance it begins to build out to the south a little bit. You can see it beginning to move along I-30. Not a ton of lightning out of this one or gusty winds, just some heavy rain. So if you're heading along I-30 sometime during the midday today, make sure that you are staying safe and just driving with caution. I-20 is actually looking pretty good right now. We'll likely see this little top notch here that's north of Kemp toward Ola. That's going to head toward Canton. That could come and clip parts of I-20 and head toward Lindale. But really, let me just show you future skycast because we're not seeing much in terms of East Texas rain just yet. But we will see lots of clouds through the rest of the day into the afternoon as well. Some scattered showers are on the way over the next several hours. It's going to be kind of the tale of two forecasts. We have this little cell that's going to move along I-30 through the rest of the morning, a secondary cell that's moving through deep East Texas, and it's going to be just on and off rain, some heavy pockets of rain. So if you do get caught in one of these little storms, there will be lots of water coming down, as well as lots of lightning, as well as some gusty winds. But then this continues to move off, and it is slowly but surely falling apart. So by the time the sun sets, we're going to be dry again. We do have a decent amount of rain in the forecast, though, up to 1/3 of an inch for our deepest East Texas cities. Slightly drier, we're looking closer to 1/4 of an inch, if not lower, for I-20 corridor and up to the north. But still, it is enough to create a flood risk across East Texas. A level 2 risk of flooding is popping up for the areas shaded in purple. That comes through and cuts parts of Smith County, stopping at most of Gregg County and then up to the north. It does extend back toward the DFW Metroplex. Now, even though we're not picking up a huge amount of rain, it doesn't take much under these conditions. We did pick up a decent amount of rain yesterday. Crockett, by far our rainfall winner, picking up almost 1.5 inches of rain. Tyler came in second. That was closer to about 1/2 inch of rain. But because of this rain, our soil is rather saturated, so we're going to not have anywhere for the rainwater to go. Just make sure that you're staying cautious and watching for any ponding on the roadways. If we're going to see it, it will likely be in a low-lying area, so we're talking underpasses. If you have any low-lying spots on the road that are near a river, you could see it there. We'll also likely see some high rivers and fast-moving water, so I'd recommend avoiding the lakes today. We'll also potentially see some lightning, so that could put a damper on your lake day. Otherwise, a level 1 risk of severe weather. This is when we're talking gusty winds and hail. A level 1 popping up for all the areas shaded in green. We may see a bit of hail later today, maybe a gusty wind or two, but the bigger threat will be some flooding. Now, in terms of what we're watching, we do have lots of thunderstorm energy. That's why we have that level 1 risk of severe weather popping up across our area. Everything that you're seeing here in the reds and in the yellows is thunderstorm energy. Lots of thunderstorm energy for what you're seeing in the yellow. As we have these showers moving through, I'm going to put them on our graphic here in just a second. They're out toward the Dallas area. They're feeding off of this and kind of eating it up. Now, we will have the thunderstorm energy begin to peak during the peak heat of the day. It kind of comes off of the warmth that we see. But as the thunderstorms make it to our area, our temperatures do begin to drop, which means that our thunderstorm energy is also dropping. So as the storms make it to East Texas, they are just going to fall apart. So that's why I'm not expecting anything in terms of severe weather today, just beyond the risk of potential flooding. Now, still about a 50% chance of rain. I do think 50% of us will see those showers. Things begin to drop as we hit Friday and Saturday until eventually rain does drop out of the forecast on Sunday and on Monday. But let me walk you through what we're watching on Friday and on Saturday. Friday, we could get some stronger storms coming in. That would likely be in the afternoon. We're looking at deep East Texas for that. Very scattered coverage. There could be an isolated downpour, maybe a strong wind gust or two. We'll continue to keep you updated as we get closer to the actual day. Fast forward to Saturday, things are looking nice in the morning. A mix of sun and cloud is coming through. But by sunset on Saturday, scattered showers are forecasted to make their way through parts of East Texas and through the Arklatex region. Still, though, if you're coming to our CBS 19 Urban Kids Fishing Derby, everything is looking nice. Mostly cloudy skies. However, it will be humid and on the warmer side of things. So make sure that you are staying prepared for that. If you have long hair, I would highly recommend having a hair tie, maybe a hat. Not a bad idea if you're prone to sweating to have some sort of sweat rag with you, because like I said, it will be humid on Saturday. But hey, we hope to see you there. That's at Walter Park from 8:30 in the morning all the way through noon. All right, now fast forward to next week, our next severe weather risk, because in terms of severe weather, we really just don't have the energy for it this week. Looking ahead to Tuesday, that's going to be our next risk. A level 2 risk of severe weather is up toward North Texas. That stretches up to Oklahoma. Here in East Texas, we are just outside of that risk region, but it is still about 5 to 6 days away. So we could see this kind of shift around a little bit, and we are close enough to that risk area. I wouldn't be surprised if it slides over to East Texas. What we mean with that is showers and thunderstorms are on the way Tuesday into Wednesday. We'll likely see the winds begin to kick up. Maybe the potential for some hail, heavy downpours are very likely with this system as well. Heading into the rest of the afternoon Wednesday, things begin to pick up, and we'll see that last all the way into parts of Wednesday afternoon and into Wednesday evening. All right, but taking you outside right now, this is what we're watching instead. Very gloomy clouds out there. So not a ton of rain just yet. This is a live look in Tyler. Just clouds. Those are stratus clouds. They're very low and very wide. I like to think of it, if you remember doing a straddle stretch when you were a kid, that's how I remember, because it's low and wide, just like these types of clouds. Temperatures are on the cooler end of things. We're currently sitting in the mid-70s, but I do think that we could climb into the 80s this afternoon. I have us warming up to the low 80s there, a few upper 70s coming in. Tonight, temperatures fall back down to the 60s. It'll be a rather warm evening. Usually we're sitting somewhere in the upper 50s for this time of year, so we're running quite a bit above average for our overnight lows. A lot of that comes from the clouds that we're tracking, as well as the elevated humidity. That means that our temperatures can't drop as much as they want to, because humid air is very stubborn, so it's not going to get quite as cold. But overall, a very mild night as we head into Friday. Here's a look at the next 7 days. A weather impact alert today. We'll likely see the potential for some flooding and maybe an isolated strong wind gust or two. Tomorrow, we're going to track that, but only in the afternoon. Otherwise, we begin to dry out with chance for some storms on the afternoon, but the fishing derby is looking good on Saturday. Things dry out on Sunday. I'm going to switch back over to our radar so we can get a check of where those storms are right now. Let me see if I'm going to track on these. These have been moving pretty consistently between 25 to 30 miles per hour. So this is moving out to the south, or to the east, southeast, to Corsicana. I can go to track on it so you guys can figure out when it will reach your city. Already between 25 to 35 miles per hour. We're going to set it right around 28. All right, so Enchanted Oaks, that should reach you closer to 11:10. We're giving you a little bit of heads up on that toward Crescent Heights. Closer to 11:40. Athens, that storm system is expected to reach you 10 minutes before noon today. Cayuga, closer to noon. Still, it's not a severe threat, but enough that you will hear lots of rumbles of thunder. You'll need your rain gear for sure today. Let me take you up north and get a second track on that other cell that we're tracking that's just moving along I-30. Again, this one is moving anywhere between 25 to 35 miles per hour, as it has been all through the morning. Let me put this out. It's moving pretty consistently straight along I-30 there. All right, so you can find your city in the top left-hand corner of the screen towards Sulphur Springs. That will reach you closer to 11:30. Toward Como, we're looking at that closer to 11:45. Picton around noon today. Once again, that's just going to be heavy rain in the Cattle Mills area as this continues to move along I-30. If you are heading out for your lunch break and you do happen to take I-30, I would recommend driving slowly just in case you do encounter any of those heavy pockets of rain or anything like that. Now, we did pick up a pretty significant amount of rainfall over the past several hours. Let me see if we can get a check of that. This is just from our radar estimates, how much rain has been picked up from the past 6 hours. So it's not what officially made it into the rain gauge. We'll get more information on that later today. But our radar is putting rain estimates anywhere between about 1/4 of an inch to up to 1.5 inches, maybe even 2 inches in some areas out toward Whitney and towards Stevensville. In the Dallas area, we're seeing lots of rain that was forecasted to come down, or that was estimated to come down near Plano and into Denton, back toward Bowie and up toward Gainesville into the North Texas area. Really a lot of rain just out to the east of Wichita Falls. Near Wichita Falls earlier this morning, there was a tornado warning that was issued. It was very quickly canceled after that, but things did get a little bit dicey before sunrise there this morning. Now, like I said, here in East Texas, I'm not expecting that we're going to see any sort of severe weather, but we are tracking the potential for flooding and then maybe a strong wind gust here and there. So it's not necessarily going to be severe weather, but it is enough to give you an impact. That's why we went ahead and issued that weather impact alert today. Let me give you another check on our radar where we're tracking those storms. Lots of lightning building back to the Cisco area and through south Dallas into parts of East Texas. It's starting to get just toward Henderson County there and toward Anderson County. Canton's starting to see their first drops of rain at the moment. Now, we did see an update to our drought monitor that comes out every Thursday, and we did see an update to that. We are tracking a bit of drought for parts of East Texas. Let me pull that up for you real fast. Sometimes it takes a second to load. So just out to our south, that's toward Anderson County and into parts of Houston County, the level 1 level of drought is popping up just in the tan, but a lot of us are still seeing abnormally dry conditions, which kind of seems strange because we did just have all that rain come through yesterday. Well, this is not accounting for that rain, but based off of the showers that we saw yesterday and the rain we'll see come in today, plus the accumulations tomorrow, I do suspect we'll get that kicked out of here. Otherwise, that does mean the ground is a little bit harder than it normally is, so that contributes to some runoff and once again the potential for some ponding on the roadways. Alrighty, well, I don't see any more comments or questions from you guys. I hope you have a fantastic Thursday. Let me go ahead and leave you with our 7-day there. A 50% chance of rain today, weather impact alert mainly for the afternoon hours and into the evening. By the time the sun sets, showers are really going to decrease in coverage. Looking ahead to Friday, we do have that scattered shower chance in the forecast, mainly in Deep East Texas and mainly in the afternoon. Kind of a copy paste of that on Saturday. We're just keeping the showers farther north. Things are going to dry off on Monday and on Sunday. However, humidity is building, so be prepared for a warm and slightly sticky beginning to next week. Rain chances begin to pick up again on Tuesday and Wednesday. We hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining us.